Welcome to the class again on rearrangements. Now we will discuss Beckmann rearrangement. Beckmann rearrangement is again related to Smith rearrangement, where we convert a ketone into an oxime. That oxime on acidic conditions is converted to amides with alkyl migration. So a ketone, when it is treated with hydroxylamine, converted to an oxime, which upon acidic conditions is converted to amide. So what is Smith rearrangement? Conversion of ketone to amide with alkyl migration. Similarly, Beckmann rearrangement also conversion of oxime to amide. How do we generate oxime? Oximes are generated from ketones. So overall we can say a ketone can be converted to amide via oxime. How do we convert this? Of course, here it is a loss of water molecule. I'm not going to discuss the mechanism of oxime formation, but I'll discuss this. When oximes are treated with acids, of course, this hydroxy group is the one which will undergo protonation. So it becomes OH2 plus. Now, as I said in the Beckmann path for the Smith rearrangement, this alkyl group will migrate to nitrogen so that this water molecule will be leaving. Now, which alkyl group will migrate to nitrogen? In this case, we have a selectivity. Alkyl group which is opposite to OH will preferentially migrate over the other alkyl group. Alkyl group which is opposite to the OH group will preferentially migrate in the Beckmann rearrangement. So for simplicity, what I'll do, I'll mark it as R dash. So which alkyl group will migrate? Because this R dash is opposite to OH group. This is the R dash group is the alkyl group which is undergoing migration. Now, after alkyl migration, we are having R dash here and positive charge. Of course, again water molecule will add this on this carbon. So it generates this iminol, which will be tautomerized to the corresponding amide. So Beckmann rearrangement is the conversion of oximes to amides with alkyl migration. Here the selectivity is alkyl group which is opposite to the OH will be migrating to nitrogen. So when we look at the overall conversion, it is a conversion of ketone to amide. So it is similar to Smith rearrangement. So in Beckmann rearrangements, the alkyl group which is opposite to hydroxy group will undergo migration. In this case, ethyl group is opposite to OH, so the product will be methyl, and this carbon is converted to ketone C double bond O, and we have nitrogen, and the ethyl group will be migrating. Okay, methyl will be there, ethyl will undergo migration. This carbon is converted as carbonyl, nitrogen is there, and ethyl is migrating. Of course, we need to write one more hydrogen here. We can also use phosphorus pentachloride instead of acidic conditions to make this OH group a leaving group. You write the product. We can also convert this hydroxy into a leaving group. OTS is a good leaving group. So after alkyl migration, you write the product. This is a good leaving group. So when it is heated, it will undergo Beckmann rearrangement. You write the product. In this case, the OH stereochemistry is not properly given. Then in such cases, what we need to do, we need to migrate an alkyl group which is more bulky. So among these two alkyl groups, this is just methyl, this is tertiary alkyl group. So migrate this group compared to the simple alkyl. So when OH stereochemistry is not given properly, then we need to migrate the more bulky group. This alkyl group migrates to nitrogen, and nitrogen we have carbonyl and then methyl. We need to write one more hydrogen here. When cyclic ketones are treated under Beckmann conditions, they will generate lactams. It is a 6-member system. After alkyl migration, it becomes 7-member. It is called caprolactam. Alpha, beta, gamma, delta, epsilon. Epsilon caprolactam. Ma. In this case, again, stereochemistry of OH is not clear. So in this case, phenyl group undergoes migration compared to this alkyl group. Okay, so migrate phenyl group, you write the product. Now we will see generation of nitriles through Beckmann rearrangement. When this is treated with PCl5, it is generating this compound. How this compound is generated? Oxygen and phosphorus are having good affinities. So that is why we generally use phosphorus reagents to dehydration reaction. So phosphorus and oxygen will immediately form a bond. Okay, so oxygen will attack on phosphorus. Cl, one of the Cl will be leaving. Of course, we can also deprotonate this. So I have removed Cl and again proton from this oxygen. Now what will happen? In the next instance, we used to have alkyl migration, right? But in this case, what happens? This ring will undergo bond breaking. So this bonding electrons will be polarized towards nitrogen. So here, instead of alkyl migration, we are breaking this bond. The bonding electrons are polarized towards nitrogen. So we are generating a triple bond, C triple bond N. Then oxygen will be polarizing. So oxygen will be leaving Cl minus. Now why this bond is breaking here? What is the driving force behind this? 1, 2, 1, 2, and then we have C triple bond N. When we break this bond, what we are generating is a carbocation. This carbocation, it is tertiary carbocation. At the same time, it is benzylic carbocation. It is a tertiary and benzylic, so it is more stable carbocation. So because of its stability, we can easily break this bond. Okay, so then a proton loss from this carbon will generate this double bond. Okay, so instead of alkyl migration, if there is a possibility for the generation of more stable carbocation, then bond breaking may possible in Beckmann rearrangement, and that generates nitriles instead of amides. I'll give you one more example for this. When this molecule is again treated with PCl5, it is generating 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it is generating 8-membered ring. We have methyl here. This is the bond which will undergo breaking, and cyanide is here. So this is the bond which will undergo bond breaking. This is the bond, and we can also write the numbering. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So when we break this bond, it is generating tertiary and benzylic carbocation, which is more stable. Then proton loss from this carbon generates this double bond. And of course, when it is breaking, the bonding electrons will be polarized towards nitrogen. So it generates a cyanide. Where is this cyanide? It is on the third carbon. 1, 2, 3. This is 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Similarly, when we have stabilizing substituents for a carbocation like plus Me groups, here we have sulfur. So this is sulfur. When this molecule is treated with thionyl chloride, of course thionyl chloride will make this hydroxy a leaving group. Then this is converted to C triple bond N, sulfur, Cl. How this is happening? We can clearly say that I don't discuss the complete mechanism. Of course, hydrox O will attack on sulfur. One of the Cl will be leaving. Then we can break this bond and polarize this bonding electrons towards nitrogen so that it generates C triple bond N, and this O will be leaving. Now, what we are having? We are having a plus M group in the molecule. It can utilize its lone pair of electrons to stabilize the carbocation generated here. Or we can, in other words, we can say the use of lone pair of electrons on sulfur can trigger this bond formation. So we have Cn here. At the same time, we have a double bond, positively charged sulfur. Of course, it is stable, right? Sulfur can stabilize a positive charge on it, right? Then Cl minus, which is leaving from thionyl chloride, now will attack on this carbon so that this double bond again polarized back to the sulfur. So we are getting this product. So here also sulfur stabilizes the carbocation, which is generated when bond breaking leads to nitrile formation. In the next example, we have an anti-periplanar bond, anti-periplanar hydrogen, which facilitates the nitrile formation. Under acidic conditions, here when we break this bond and polarize the bonding electrons towards nitrogen, then we can remove this proton and we can polarize the bonding electrons towards this. So what we are getting is we are getting a 5-membered ring. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-membered ring. And we are generating a double bond here, and this side we have nitrile group. This side we have nitrile group. So this proton here facilitates the bond breaking here. In the final example, when we have a 1,2-diketone, this can be converted to oxime. Right. When it is treated under acidic conditions, again here also a bond breaking leads to nitrile generation. This becomes nitrile, this becomes carboxylic acid. Why? When we polarize this bonding electrons towards nitrogen to generate C triple bond N, we are generating a carbocation on a cation on a carbonyl carbon. Of course, carbonyl carbon is electropositive in nature, so it can have positive charge on carbonyl carbon, right? So that is why here also the bond is alpha bond is breaking to oxime so that it generating a nitrile.